This is TWiT.
Has anybody received an invitation to a putative Apple, not Putative, putative, Apple, putative in the mind Apple event for next week, next Tuesday? No. So maybe Gurman's right and I was wrong, and there is not going to be a real event.
Yeah.
And in fact, the Gurman says that don't expect iOS 16 for your iPad or iPad OS 16 until October 24th because the Apple quarterly results call is the 27th, and so that means apparently that's when they do these things
frequently
historically.
Yeah, right before the event. Yeah.
So we think there won't be an event, or maybe it'll be on the 25th.
Well, I mean, what do we mean by event? I think is the big question.
Well, like something at the Steve Jobs Theater where people show up and.
Yeah, no, I don't think there will be, but I think that they can still do an event in terms of like doing one of their little videos that plays for an hour that everybody goes and sees rather than just dropping a press release. There's another move for them that isn't inviting a whole bunch of people into a theater to watch a video that is streamed live on the internet. Yeah. They can still just run a video live, and it'll be interesting to see if that's what they do or if they just drop press releases, because I think the video is way more effective because they get to force people to watch a commercial for an hour. What could be better if you're Apple?
Yeah.
I mean, the question would be could they be releasing in hardware that would merit, hey, we want people to have it, we want analysts and pundits and video and YouTubers to have a chance to actually lay hands on physical product and see something, versus no, it's the same box, same shape, same specs, just when you do benchmarks and you do stuff, it'll run faster and you can attach more screens to it, but pretty much that's it. So yeah, I'm starting to feel more and more like that's a really good prestigification, although it's really changing like my schedule for the month, because now it's like every day it's like wake up, see if there's a press release in my inbox about a brand new Mac Mini. If not, I go back to sleep. If there is, I quickly go to the Apple Store and do my pre-order. So that's me for the next 3 weeks.
All right, I felt like there was the M2 Pro and Max and maybe an Ultra and tease of a Mac Pro.
Something might get released this fall. It just may not be in October.
I know, but I feel like it was worth an event. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I know they'll release it, but I feel like it was worth an event.
Again, what's an event though? Like I really could make the argument that if they do a 1 hour video that they tell people about a few days in advance,
that's an event, I guess. Yeah.
That's an event, and then they just, for the press, they would just do briefings instead of having everybody come at once, which is because that iPhone event, I mean, we didn't see anything other than Tim Cook showing up at the beginning and saying, "Hi, everybody, watch my video." Everything else was literally, we were just watching what we could have watched at home on the live stream. The value, as we said the other week, is that the members of the media got to see the hardware and all that. Well, the other way you can do it is literally invite your reviewers who are going to be getting their hands on the hardware to come to Cupertino or New York or wherever else they do a briefing, and give them the briefing and just do that and run the video anyway. Like that, there's no appreciable difference in that, I think.
Yeah, but the difference is that there's when you can have 500 people at least invited to this event, and so 500 people to hundreds more in the demo room, and 500 people, hundreds more writing and doing videos based on, hey, here's my experiences with blah blah blah. Whereas you'll have maybe 24 people who are going to be getting the pre-briefings, and most of them are going to be locked into an NDA that says you can't publish anything for another week. This is why the demo room has kind of a double value. It allows the people who are under NDA to have you can get the day of announcement video in and hands on. But unbeknownst to anybody else, hey, guess what's in my backpack right now as I'm shooting this video? The exact same thing. So it's the question is what is Apple's goal for PR and marketing and messaging off of such an event? And I think the question would be, in October, if it truly is rumored that, if the rumors are true and truly the big shot is going to be a new Mac Mini, maybe an updated iPad, and in both cases pretty much just new silicon and not brand new silicon we haven't seen before, what would be the value in doing that?
Well, the value
I think
is
the MacBook Pro is out there. The MacBook Pro is out there. That would be new silicon.
The value is you have the attention even if Apple were to announce iPod socks, you have the attention of the press and and to a great degree the public. That is, I mean, how much money do you spend for a Super Bowl ad? You're talking that level of attention. Why would you turn it down? Why would you dismiss it?
Well, it gets back into, if you go back to the well too often without something that's worth going to, then press is less likely to come the next time.
No, don't give me a break. The press will go to anything Apple ever does.
For now.
Free food, they'll be there.
now.
But it's levels, and Andy's right. Like, there are different levels here. When Apple did the 16-inch MacBook Pro in 2019, that was my last sort of in-person Apple briefing in the old style before COVID. I mean, that was... a bunch of people got invited the day before the announcement under embargo. We were given the hardware with an embargo time, and then they did a big announcement. And the big announcement came with Apple's announcement plus a whole bunch of media writing stories about the 12 hours that they spent with the hardware in advance. And you can do that sort of scenario if you want to.
But that was one with this new device. They're but I mean that and a 14.
But if it's a handful, but if they're no different hardware, right? If it's really, like Andy said, a silicon difference and a Mac Mini bump, and it's a nice collection. But what I'm saying is there's not much difference. Like inviting people to Cupertino, it's just there's not that much difference between that and running a video online. I think the question is, are you running a video or are you just doing a press release? Because I don't know why you wouldn't do a video regardless, but I don't think you necessarily need
I think you want
people
an event
in person
with a date and a time, and you make a big splash out of it.
Yeah, but they've done that during COVID. They did that during COVID. You don't have to invite people. You don't have to. No, I don't. I really don't agree. I think it doesn't matter if you invite the press to the campus.
Here's the link bait article.
If you say,
if I were writing
Tuesday at 10 a.m., we're going to do a great event, and it's entirely just a video that runs online, I think that is all they need to do.
If I were writing a link bait article for Forbes, the headline would be, "What is Apple afraid of?" by Leo Laporte. No event? Why not?
And then the first line answers the question by simply repeating the headline and removing the word "by."
Leo Laporte. Yeah, maybe that's what they're afraid of. No, I think I just don't think it's a sensible marketing strategy. And if you've got, well, look, we know they have at least 4 products they're going to announce. A MacBook Pro 14, a MacBook Pro 16. All right, maybe it's the same old design, although remember, the MacBook Air is not. But okay, maybe it's the same old design. An iPad, that is an important product for them. An iPad Pro, that's an important chance for them to position the iPad Pros. That's 4 products, not one 16-inch laptop. That's 4 products.
Okay. What is gained by having the press watch the video on a screen at Apple Park while
attention? Headlines.
You think there are no headlines if they do it the old way that they did during the pandemic and just running it online?
Not the same kind of headlines. If it's date and time, if it's look, obviously I'm wrong, but I think it's, from a marketing point of view, it's a very odd thing to do. And the only reason I can think that they would not do it is if there's something they want to hide. If it isn't as big an event as it ought to be. If supply chain shortages or disputes with TSMC or whatever are hurting them.
I mean, I think bottom line, it's that the Mac and the iPad aren't as big as the iPhone. And I mean, they used to do iPhone events at Yerba Buena and do Mac events in Town Hall in Cupertino, which was a much smaller venue.
Yeah.
That was a similar choice, which is we don't need to do 100% full effort for Mac speed bumps. We don't.
So your guy's position is a processor refresh would just result in negative PR. People would go, no, Apple.
No, that's no. But my idea is that, though, even if you're just running a video, getting the space together, putting an hour and a half of Tim Cook's time on his schedule, that's all. There's a lot more investment behind it.
Well, let Johnny Cerrugi do it, or Eddie Q. What's Eddie Q doing these days? But then
it feels like you're minimizing the thing anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't think they would be suspicious if they didn't decide to do like an actual event. I'm just saying that they have to. I think they have to spend that kind of stuff wisely. You're obviously going to want to do that for Apple Watch, iPhone, certainly for AirPods. Those are Apple's least expensive and really consumerish driven items, where the people who are going to be rushing out to buy this are the people who are probably going to find out about it first on TikTok, like on Instagram stories, on like really, really quick hit.
Maybe it is an acknowledgement, as the White House has even acknowledged, that people get their news in a different way these days. They get it from TikTok.
Well, TikTok is a lot more important than people think. People are even a certain generation is even using it instead of Google for search for.
I had
a
debate with my daughter yesterday. I said, what, people aren't searching TikTok in the same way they would search Google. She said, Dad, you're doing it wrong. I said, no, really? How could they be doing? She said, Dad, you just don't understand. She almost said, okay, boomer. I said, well, what if I wanted to know how old the Golden Gate Bridge was? I would Google that. You would Google that, right? She said, no, you go to TikTok, and then you get and she was right, I did it. You get all these really great historical pieces of. See, my problem is, and she says, your problem is you don't fight the algorithm. My problem is I go with it. She says, you can't go to TikTok and just be pleasured by it. You have to quickly swipe away from anything that isn't something you want, like information. You can't just say, oh, that's kind of funny. Look at it, he's taping her to the wall. Because you're going to get more of that if you do that. So she says you can make TikTok useful or have multiple accounts. Is that what you're about to say?
I have 6 accounts.
Yeah.
I have 6 accounts.
You have different accounts for different needs.
Some of them are really funny. Some of them are very focused on how-tos, and some of them are and I'm very careful. Like I'll be sitting there and my kids will want to watch something again, and I'll be like, that's the wrong account. I can't do that again. Like I can't watch that.
I will give you my reason for Apple. And by the way, it's not too late for me to be wrong. Or you guys to be right. But I think there's still a chance that the 24th or 25th, they're not going to do this.
Holding out hope.
Yeah, I'm holding out hope. But look at this. Ed Hardy writing Cult of Mac. Mac shipments shoot up a whopping 40%. This is in a market where PC shipments are down more than they have ever been in history. And look at the headline here. The July launch of the sleek M2 MacBook Air helped surely to push up Mac shipments last quarter. So make a big deal about it. You are riding the wave, baby. So if you're surfing and the wave is coming, you don't just go, have a nice time, wave, and paddle out farther.
Well, that's what they'll definitely do at their earnings call. I will point out that there was another study that said that it was flat and another study that said it was down, because these studies kind of make things
Apple
up.
doesn't say.
But I want to. Here's a hypothetical for you about this. How important is this thing? Should it be an event? Is one of the great advantages of having people at Apple Park in person is to get their hands on, like we said, the hands-on area, and you get to see it. Well, theoretically, if the Mac Mini is a speed bump and the Mac Mini hardware didn't change, and the MacBook Pro hardware didn't change, it's just got the M2 chip in it, and the iPad didn't change, it's just got a new chip in it, the iPad Pro, let's say. Well, why are we even there, right? Like, it's like, if it's everything you've seen before and the chips changed, is there benefit in having people have their hands on? I just feel like Apple's got more than one event in its playbook. It's got the kind of big event, it's got this kind of virtual event, and then it's got the press release. And this feels like a middle event to me. But hold out hope. They could do something. It seems like it would happen or have happened in the last hour, probably, if it was.
No, I think it's probably not going to happen. But
it's a pretty big lift to bring people to the campus. Like it's not it's not a minor thing to say, oh, we're gonna have people come in. And they've definitely figured out the video release process. I definitely agree that if there's no major change to the form factor, it doesn't really mean that. I mean, it is an enormous. I mean, I've worked on a bunch of different keynotes for a lot of different companies, and bringing people in is 10 times more complicated than just playing out the video.
But it's not like they don't have plenty of money. I mean.
It's a limited number of people. Like you have a lot of money, but it's not.
They just hire you, Alex. 090 Media. Go out and get Alex Lindsay. He can do it. He'll do it for $5 million.
That's a lot. Exactly. It's not sure. Absolutely. I just want to underline that. If you want
that hard, is it, Alex? Suddenly it got easier, didn't
100% in. But it's dealing with. It's the security, it's the infrastructure, it's egress, it's food, everything, and it lights up like 150 people.
So this is a tacit admission from Apple that what we got is just kind of more of the same. So We're not going to.
Every time we watch it, when we do the office hours thing, when they say this is the best iPhone ever, we're just waiting for someday for them to say, it's not this one wasn't as good as last year, but it was always hard. Better. And, we're doing the best we can. Yeah,
we realize we take a lot of crap if we didn't release something. And some of you are dumb enough because we're pretending.
You guys are making my case.
They just need to get Larry David up there and be like, I mean,
part of them calibrating the message is that the iPhone, it's not the iPhone, and so they don't invite the same people to a Mac event than they do to an iPhone event. They just don't, because those people, if you invite them and it's just the Mac and the iPad, they're going to be like, why did I fly all this way, right? Like so you've got it's a smaller group of media who are interested, and they're less interested, and that's nothing bad about the Mac and the iPad, but the Mac and the iPad aren't the iPhone, so maybe a smaller event is a better fit.
They have had Mac Mini. They have had Mac and iPad events in the past.
They have. They definitely have. I think COVID has changed their strategy.
So they have a new mindset.
Yeah, in the old time, they might have taken us to Brooklyn or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like they did back in 2018 and said, "Oh, here we are, and check this out." And I think and this is a question, this is something for us to watch over the next couple of years, is did COVID teach Apple that there are a whole bunch of things that they used to do as events that they should just do as videos?
Sure.
And this might be an example of that.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am Ant Pruitt, and I am the host of Hands On Photography here on TWiT TV. I know you got yourself a fancy smartphone, you got yourself a fancy camera, but your pictures are still lacking. Can't quite figure out what the heck shutter speed means? Watch my show. I got you covered. Want to know more about just the ISO and exposure triangle in general? Yeah, I got you covered. Or if you got all of that down, you want to get into lighting, making things look better by changing the lights around you. I got you covered on that too. So check us out each and every Thursday here on the network. Go to twit.tv/hop and subscribe today.